All right. Looks like we are back in action for night number 9. Night number 9. It's got a special meaning. Surely night number 9 has a special meaning for Vlogmas or Christmas season podcasting, whatever you want to call it. We're going to become very creative before it's all said and done. Pulling up the chat right now. Big Frog signed in early, which motivated me to sign in just a little bit early. Trying to get the microphone tuned in right here. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Good to see everybody. Or who's here already? I saw Big Frog just a moment ago. And good to see you. Shane's back in the house. Let's go. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, always, as always, welcome. Welcome to night number 9. And Big Frog is definitely in the house. Word up. Word up. So I'm looking around here, and always good to have Carolyn in the house. Carolyn has worked all day. We had the kids, the grandkids over for some pre-Christmas festivities, and it was wonderful. Of course it was. Holding my newborn grandson in my arms, and it was great. I call him Peanut, and I don't know why. I know that's not exactly rare. A lot of grandparents call their grandbabies Peanut, but for some reason, he's just perfect in every possible way. Still kind of getting everything dialed in, folks. Thanks for your patience. But I do welcome you. Tonight's topic is the North Pole is being invaded as we speak, and I'm just curious as to whether or not Santa Claus is prepared. The reason why we know that Santa Claus defenses are up to par. He's got contracts with NATO as well as the Israelis, so he's in good shape. Walter, how are you, sir? Walter from West Virginia is in the house. Walter, West Virginia, Wild Walter, West Virginia, some people like to call. And so, just going to tune that down a little bit. Welcome, as they say here in the South. Good to see y'all here tonight. Good to see y'all here tonight. What would happen if the North Pole was invaded? Let's just talk about this. Do you know that's like a likely scenario if we're ever invaded by Russia, which I don't think we have anything to worry about there. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it couldn't go nuclear. I'm just saying that in the event that Russia got, froggy. No disrespect, Big Frog. But if Russia got froggy, and not in the Big Frog kind of way, froggy, polite, courteous, and funny, but in the I'm going to kill you sucker kind of way. Let's say Russia got that way. They could invade, coming over the polar ice caps there. They have submarines, temporary bases. They camp out up there. I don't know. It's important to them. It's really important. And so they could come across the North Pole. And I'm thinking, if they're invaded, Santa is at the North Pole, and we know he spent a lot of money. You think he does toys all year? Not true. Not true. He's digging in. He's digging in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell. That's right, Shane. Shane's in the house tonight. Shane has really been instrumental in the live stream this year. Keeping it going, keeping it real. Keeping it real. All of you guys have been. Big Frog, you've been great. I appreciate it. So I put out a 1-minute advert and a normal advert. I don't think those things are helping at all as far as building up this year. However, I checked out our statistics so far. We're not doing terribly bad. We're okay. Excuse me. We're okay for a bunch of old people, except for like Carolyn. Carolyn's not old. She's young. I married her young, folks. It was a mail-in bride from Latvia. That's Carolyn. I know, Big Frog. I was so disappointed that you weren't here last night. I was like, man, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? No, I'm kidding. I wasn't saying that. So yeah, Santa Claus. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Groundhog Day that came out, back in 1904. And Groundhog Day, there were like these previews to it was like fake previews, in movie previews to upcoming movies. And it was like an action movie about the North Pole being invaded, and Lee Majors was going to be the action hero. I thought I loved that when I was a kid. I think I was, what were we, 8th grade or something, 9th grade when that came out. Groundhog Day is a classic, American classic. Love that movie. It's marvelous. Not Groundhog Day, Scrooged. I'm sorry, wrong Bill Murray movie. I was thinking Bill Murray and it went to Groundhog Day. But no, the movie Scrooged, which is like one of those instant Christmas classics. I still, the opening, la 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 la. That's what I always think about that. Then they show the previews to the upcoming movies, and it's just hysterical. Anybody else like Scrooged out there? It's good stuff. It's good, wholesome fun. It's entertainment. Bill Murray at his best, in my opinion. I don't know. That's what I think about it. Good stuff. Hey, if you're new tonight, or you're just eavesdropping, or you're kind of weird and you're watching from the shadows and not commenting, look, you know who you are. I'm talking to you. If you think, who's he talking to? I'm talking to you. You're in the shadows. Maybe you've stopped by a couple of nights and you're like, I'm not going to comment. I just want to see what Bill's doing so I can talk about him later. Listen, you can still comment and have fun and talk about me later. People do it all the time. It's okay. It's okay. So join in the chat. Be at home. Besides, we can look it up later. Just kidding. I mean, we can, but I'm not going to. Yay, Scrooged. Scrooged is a great movie. It's a great movie. Had two people just drop out right then when I said that. They were like, no, I'm dropping out because he can see me. Yay, Scrooged. It's a great movie, Big Frog. It's one of the best movies. It's one of the best Christmas movies that were made during a time where I don't think we were cranking out. Well, I take that back. You have the vacation movies. Christmas Vacation came out somewhere around then. I guess I'd have to look at but I'm pretty sure it's like the same time period. The Christmas Vacation readjusted the entire Vacation franchise. The first Vacation movie, it came out when I was a kid, and I was a little too young to watch it, but Mom and Dad loved that movie. My mom and dad, they absolutely loved that movie. The movie's hysterical. And I was just old enough to watch the vacation movies when the European Vacation came out, which is hysterical. And then I went back and watched the regular, the first Vacation movie, loved it. And then on the third movie, that was the Christmas Vacation movie, which was almost like a complete reboot of the whole franchise. Dodd said he's fine. He's at Fort Wainwright, Elston Air Force Base on both sides. And Greeley, I forgot you were in the Air Force. That's right. So you know all about this. 100 miles away from Army and Air Force, keeping watch over the North Pole. Well, that's good. He's got air support. That's for sure. He's got air support. And these days, you don't need a whole lot more than air support. Am I right? I mean, you got air support. You got everything you need. You do. The Peanuts movie. When did it come out? Can somebody look that up? I have a Jamie, which is, Joe Rogan's Jamie, which is Carolyn. She's the Jamie. But at the same time, she's kind of keeping up with the chat. So I don't want to bog her down. She might be in there like cleaning up after the kids were here and stuff. Who knows? But I'm glad she's in here, by the way. I'm so tickled every time. Carolyn makes it all better. This wouldn't be possible without her. So I'm just so grateful. But yeah, somebody look up when the Peanuts movie came out. I don't remember when that was. But during the 80s there, I'm trying to remember like great Christmas movies. Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about classic. Because there was another Peanuts movie that came out recently, and I didn't know if you were talking about that one. But yeah, what's that called? The one where they're trying to get a tree or something, a Christmas tree, and then they actually share the gospel of Christ there at the end of the cartoon, which you would never see today. And so that always touched me, where they actually give the Christmas story. I wouldn't say they share the gospel. They give the account of Christmas. 11/6 of 215 that was for the Peanuts, the modern Peanuts movie, A Charlie Brown Christmas. Thank you, Big Frog. That's what it is. I love the soundtrack to that, the jazz thing with the piano. I love that. It's just so cool. And I don't even think of Peanuts anymore. When I hear that song, I think of Christmas. Isn't that weird? It's like a Christmas kind of thing. So yeah, the North Pole. Todd was telling us that, you got close air support if the North Pole is invaded. You do have an Army base, which I'm sure they are, killer, because they're, Army infantry, hua, all that stuff. So you've got support there. And of course, we've got divisions set aside for quick response. That's good. And let's be honest, when Santa's elves aren't preparing to become a great snack at Christmas, they can defend the North Pole with everything they've got. I mean, all 2 feet of them, they just run right at the enemy, screaming in a language that nobody can decipher. And they're just big enough for like, the A2 rifle. And so they just charge right at the enemy. And if you get desperate enough, some of the grown-ups, the big people, just throw the elves right at the enemy, because they explode on contact. I'm not sure. Like if you throw them against the wall hard enough, they blow up. It's weird. It's all the pixie dust or whatever they have at the North Pole. I'm not really sure. The jury's still out. I love the backdrop tonight. I don't know what action. I ganked this off the internet, and I don't know what action is going on besides Santa Claus. But that would be killer. You got Santa Claus flying over like a war zone. You know, it's like a combat, you know, field of combat. They're in an urban environment, and there's Santa Claus. I'm coming. You know, may it be that in this country we never see, in the continental United States. I know Hawaii's been hit. Yes, New York has been hit. I understand September 11th, but you have to understand September 11th is a terrorist attack, and it wasn't an actual full-out blitz. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful about September 11th, so nobody get mad at me. But, I mean, just think about that for a minute, though, about what that would be like in this country if you had this all-out invasion. It'd be just kind of crazy. I know that's a dark topic. I realize that, but it's Christmas. It's dark. It's time for that, you know, dark night and fireplace and fire support. You know what I'm saying? Walter says, you can have the reindeer fly over and drop the elf. Walter, yes. Walter's going there. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Santa had to, you load up 100 elf. That's great. You're exactly right. And you just kind of let him go and let him just on impact, close air support. Boom, boom, boom. Drop a bunch of them off. Maybe you roll them around in Crisco and you have napalm suddenly. You dunk them in orange juice. I guess you'd have to do the flour not the flour. Well, I'm just getting hungry. I'm sorry. But you take Crisco, put it all over them, something real good and flammable, and you go from there, right? Dunk them in orange juice. You've got napalm, folks. You've got napalm. Negligible losses. Negligible losses. I said losers. That too. So funny. Throwing the elves at the enemy. Throwing food. Well, because they explode on contact. See, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't happen as much. This is before they're prepared to eat. So they still have like whatever they use for blood flowing through them, which apparently is flammable. And the pressure of their body against that when it hit, I don't know the physics behind it, but it's pretty devastating. I mean, you know, I don't know the details. I don't. I'm sorry. It's not a science channel, people. I'm sorry. I don't know the combustion rate of an elf. I saw the study though that I thought I would run by you guys too. I know it's off topic. I saw this science thing where they're talking about the inside of a black hole and time reversal and all this kind of good stuff. And I'm thinking, I know math, okay, I know, but you know, I can make up math too. I could squiggly line my way to make up math. Just make up stuff. Like, because a lot of times when they're talking, I'm going, you're doing what I used to do in English class and just make it up. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes I think that they just make stuff up. It's hilarious. It's a Molotov elf tail. Most terrifying sound in the world. You can see all kinds of soldiers, whoever the enemy happens to be, and they're 20 years after the fact talking about their PTSD experiences, and they're talking about the sounds of the bombs dropping. Wee! Wee, wee, wee! Boom, 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 boom. You're like, we tried to eat them, but they were burnt beyond recognition. It was terrible. So you got a serious situation going on up there, though. I'm telling you, it's a serious situation. It's almost as serious as this Bigfoot situation. Listen, I have friends of mine, acquaintances. Let me back up here. I have acquaintances of mine because I allude to Bigfoot often. And the reason why is because everywhere we visit and we make videos, every national park, every national forest, there are Bigfoot stuff for whatever, commercialization, whatever. Because there's no, trademark infringement on Bigfoot. There isn't. You can talk about Bigfoot and get by with it, okay? He doesn't have an agent. He doesn't have attorneys. So you can say what you want to about Bigfoot. So everybody's got statues up. Everybody's, alludes to Sasquatch. or whatever region you're in, and they call it whatever. So if you're in, let's say, the American West in Colorado, they actually have a Bigfoot crossing on the way up to Pikes Peak. And that's not marketing. There have been so many Bigfoot sightings there that they actually put a crossing like, hey, be careful. It's a real deal. They actually spent money on a sign. But since I allude to it a lot in my videos, it's supposed to be shtick, but it does, apparently people hear and see what they want to. That people will say, hey, are you still looking for Bigfoot? And I'm like, hey, yeah. I don't know what to say. What do you say? I don't know. Because no, I don't look for Bigfoot. We made a video way back about Bigfoot because Matt Sieber lives up in Spring City. And Matt's like a legitimate Bigfoot expert. Like, people call him for Bigfoot stuff. He's got a website and the whole 9 yards. He was on that show that used to be on whatever it was. And he's good. He's a great guy. I love talking to him, and I actually ordered his book, and because he wrote a book, and there's always a book, and he wrote a book about his experience, and it turns out to be a great book because he knew how to write the book to where it's not just about Bigfoot, it's about culture, and in so many words, just describing the culture. In other words, the people that see Bigfoot and experience Bigfoot, their life does change afterwards, but. And I'm not being funny. I'm being very serious right now. But they're just normal people beforehand. They're not necessarily crazy or anything like that. They're just good old-fashioned folks. They're just salt-of-the-earth people. And they have this experience. They're not trying to get attention. But they're like, hey, I saw this thing, and people kind of need to know about it. And then they feel crazy for the next few years. And so we were talking about UFOs the other night or last night, whatever it was. It's night 9, people. It's all blurring together. But I started thinking, I'm not trying to make fun of people who've had some kind of experience seeing something that they can't explain. We all see stuff that at times we're like, wow. But I can't imagine. I think between a UFO, like a legitimate, not just what Carol and I saw, where a light in the sky disappeared. I mean, that was kind of like, wow, that was interesting. But to have a Bigfoot experience, especially, we were on this road in West Virginia, and Walter, this is up north of you, up in Monongahela National Forest, then it's at the north end of it. It's an old coal job. I can't remember the name of the company, but they manage it as a wilderness area now. I guess the coal ran out or got too expensive to get out or whatever. And you can't build there because the ground is terrible now because they've coaled it to death. I mean, they have mined it to death. And so it's basically a wilderness area, just thousands and thousands of acres, like all of West Virginia, that are almost empty. So Carol and I are like driving around there at night, and it's a dirt road. And then all of a sudden we see this campsite in the middle of nowhere. Carolyn freaks out. But I kept looking at Carolyn. It's foggy, and it's scary. It is. I'm loving it. She was loving it too, but the campsite in the middle of nowhere, and you just keep thinking, what if I get a flat tire here in a wilderness area, which we've done before? But you keep thinking, what would that be like? You're trapped out here in this wilderness area. But I kept looking at her and saying, what would it be like if you're driving in the 4-wheel drive there, and then Bigfoot walks right out in front of you? Woo! Carolyn just said, it's creepy. Bumble from Claymation Rudolph. Yeah. Is it the snowman, the bad guy that they're all, yeah, that's the, is that who I think that's who you're talking, right? Like, that would be terrifying, especially if when you saw it, it was like claymation. Like you said, Bumble from Claymation Rudolph. Think about seeing like it moves like it's claymation. That would terrify me. That'd be awful. And then I would just have to be like, okay, I quit. UFOs are real. Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, it's all real. Remember the campsite we found oh, yes. I got to tell that story. This is another eerie story where back in a long time ago, the FBI or somebody, they were chasing after this guy. I won't go into detail, but it was a well-known criminal that had done some very, very bad things. Boom. Let's just say that. Boom. He did some booms. He did lots of booms. And Shane and I are like exploring. Ocoee is in southeast Tennessee. Is that the Calhutta Wilderness, Shane? I think it is, or close to it or something. But it's the Ocoee River region, and it's kind of a popular outdoorsy kind of area. Very nice. As far people come from everywhere to visit there. It's at I won't call it exactly the foothills of the Smokies. Smokies are about an hour and a half north. You're not far. You're not far from the Smokies. The Unicorn Mountains are just up the road. Anyway, it's, trees, mountains, stuff like that. And we're exploring, and this dude that was being searched for by the FBI and other government agencies, the police and everybody else, we factually knew that he is hiding out and had been hiding out for months in this area. And we used to call, I'll put it to you this way, his name happens to be one of the reindeers. I'm not making that up. I am being very serious. By the way, welcome, Billy. Strong's Adventures. Always good to see him. And so just imagine, it is like right down the road from Big Frog Mountain, because Big Frog is awesome. One of my favorite places to hike, by the way. And so long story short, we found an abandoned campsite back there, hiking around, and it was the scariest thing you've ever seen. It just abandoned. Now think about what I'm saying here. You're walking, you're hiking, you're doing that thing, and then boom, an abandoned campsite with a known reindeer name person out there who has proven he's not scared to go boom. So it was just kind of weird. Maybe that wasn't as scary to you guys here at secondhand. Maybe I didn't tell it right. I'm just saying it was eerie, very eerie. That big Strong's Adventurers sent me over. Hey, oh my goodness, welcome from Australia. Welcome from down under. I know you hear that all the time because from your perspective, you're on the right side up. So that's certainly not to be insulting, but welcome from Australia. And well, this is just a zany kind of crazy channel where we do stupid stuff, and we want to welcome you to be crazy with us. And so jump in the comments. Feel free to be sarcastic, leave snide remarks, or just make fun of me. Either way you go, we're going to laugh. So welcome. It was scary, Shane says. There was a copy of The Hunt for Red October in the tent and nothing else. I forgot about that little detail. Interesting. And here's something interesting about that too. Like the copy of The Hunt for Red October, I cannot remember like if it's from the movie, as far as like, is it the reprint after the movie or the one before? Anyway, that's not the point. Because I'm thinking, is whoever it is, are they out there reading in Sean Connery's voice? That's what I want to know. We have Yowies in Oz. Okay, explain that, because now you've got all of our mind wondering what that is. Yowies in Oz. I don't know what that is, but I want to know now. Walter says, abandoned campsites are creepy. See, that's what I'm saying. Walter knows. And in West Virginia, I won't say it's a lot more common, but it gets reported more that there are abandoned campsites. And part of the reason why is because the weather can change, especially, well, where you're at, north of you, the weather can change instantly. And sometimes people just get in their car and go. They just leave their stuff and go, especially if a winter storm comes in. Because you're on the Allegheny front, so all of the cold fronts from the north just slam into those mountains hardcore. All the trees in Monongahela are flagged, which means they point one direction. It's kind of cool looking, but so they'll just bail on their campsite. It says a Yowie is a Bigfoot. I had no idea. We need to write that down. Somebody write that down in the comments so that we never forget that Yowie is a Bigfoot in Australia, because we'll use that terminology. That is awesome. That is awesome. The toilet area near the tent looked like it had been used for months. I forgot about that part too. And the canoe that was beside the tent had to be carried a few hundred yards just to get in the water. We're pretty sure that that's who this guy was the guy that was known by the name of a reindeer. They caught him several months later. No, it was over a year later. He was good at hiding. He would be the best hide and seek player ever. All these people talk about survivalist stuff, I'm a survivalist, and when it hits the fan, I'm going to the woods. And you're like, dude, you wouldn't last 5 minutes in the woods. I've been hiking and been an outdoorsman my whole life. It is hard to live more than a few. I'm talking about when you're roughing it. I'm talking about going to a campsite, because this was barely a campsite. I want to add that to that, Shane, is that it wasn't a normal, it was, what do they call it, a unimproved campsite or something? There's a name for it, but you're talking about stripped down facilities, very limited facilities at all. But most people can't do the whole, go through the woods and just pick a spot to camp. They just, it's way too far out. This guy was good. Hello, me now. Deja vu. Deja vu. Hello, me now. Me now twice. Me now squared. Walter Langston says, just north of here is getting a big snowstorm now. Yes, they are. I keep up with West Virginia weather more than I do ours here in Chattanooga. That is a fact. And because it's far more interesting than the weather is here. Everybody's talking about the weather to next few days here in Chattanooga. It's going to be cold. It's going to be 18 degrees, like 16 degrees at night. That's the low. But the high is like 50 something and 61. I'm like, that's not cold, people. That's not cold. I have eaten native berries, goanna, snake, crocodile. Not that I was roughing it, just shown how to. Absolutely. Crocodile, I've never had. I've had alligator. I've had snake and not had guano. They were going to feed us in Nicaragua, guana in Nicaragua. And we just never got around to it. Not that I was roughing it, just shown how to. I don't think I could clean an alligator though. Like, I guess I would just have to start guessing of how to get the meat out of the tail. I miss West Virginia and Virginia weather. Me too, baby. Me too. Yo, just need a black pot and some sourdough. You're reading my mind. You're reading my mind. All I need is a black pot. You call it a black pot. You do. I call it a Dutch oven. I do. I call it a Dutch oven. I call it a Dutch oven because Shane called it a Dutch oven back in the day. I think it was Shane. And, it's an iron pot. But you're right. Black pot, iron pot, old pot, whatever. It's kind of cool. I've been treating mine right lately. In other words, it's oiled up. It stays no rusty. Croc tastes like alligator except Southern style. Huh. Okay. All right. Okay. If you're going to compare it to eating elves, how would you describe it comparing it to elves? Because some people say elves taste like chicken. Some people say elves taste like different things. How would you compare the taste of a crocodile to an elf? That is my Dutch oven. No, it's not, Big Frog. You've been saying this for 5 years now. It is not your Dutch oven. I'm sorry. If anybody has a claim to it, it's Juan, but don't tell him I said that. Because then I got to send him one, That's probably why he left the channel. Actually, I don't know why he left the channel. If you guys run into him, tell him we miss him. Like, come back. What's an elf? As in Santa's elf. See, a lot of us in here, Big Gaz, we consume elf, as in Santa's elves. And we were talking about how to prepare Santa's elves. And we talking about like a turkey fryer. Like you could fry them like you would a turkey. People like them different ways here. But for us, it's elves are more... See, you would... Lurley, welcome to the channel, by the way. Welcome. And elves are more... they are more tender. I've never had crocodile, though. I don't want to step out too far here. I've never had crocodile, but I'm thinking elves would be more tender. I don't know if they would be as tasty. Santa's elves taste like midget chickens. Oh, thank you. I don't know that has anybody else ever had midget chickens? I've had dwarf chickens, never midget chickens. Lurley says, hi, hey, how are ya? Can we borrow some sugar? It's good to see you all. But yeah, and I think we could turn things like alligator, all you need is a sitcom or a movie to make something a new Christmas tradition. And I'm thinking we could turn eating elves into a Christmas tradition. It says, I'm trying to learn to breed Cornish game elf. I don't think... we talked about this briefly the other night. I'm pretty sure you were in here. You might remember. It's not the fact that you can't. It's just difficult to in this climate. That's what I've been told. I don't know. I think if you had like... because, they're indigenous to the North Pole. So you have to have a big walk-in freezer. They need plenty of exercise. So you're talking about a major cooling space here. Some of our engineers can kind of help us out with that. to tell us what we're needing to make that happen. The politically correct term for midget chickens is pulled, but midget chicken is what they were called till the turn of the century. I think you're right about that. Somebody fact check him. Jamie, fact check him. I think you're right. Oh, you said pull. I read pulled. It's pull it. That's even better. It's so much better. Bantams. I am lost on that one. Bantams. Bantams. I don't even know now. I don't even remember how we got started on the elf thing. Me now says, I'm pretty sure breeding Cornish game elves is spoken against in the Bible. If not, it should be. I said chickens or I meant elves. I'm pretty sure that breeding Cornish game elves is spoken against in the Bible. If so, it would be in, that one. What is bantams? What is a bantams? Oh, are we talking about the, help me define what a bantam is. I'm lost on that one. Please help me out. Please help me out. I'll take a drink while you're helping me out. Exactly. Leviticus. Is it Leviticus? I'm sure it's in Leviticus. A little chicken. Bantams. Thank you. Little chicken, don't you? Little chicken, don't. Bantams are a very small breed of chickens. So what do you call a small breed of elf? Somebody help me with this. We need a dictionary. Bantams are very small breeds of chicken. We need a lexicon now for like elf nomenclature and stuff. Everything is in Leviticus. You're right. Everything is in Leviticus. No, actually it's not. Bantam elves. Okay, now I got you now, Big Frog. I got you. Big Frog Wilderness over where you were talking about earlier. Fantastic place to hike. Scary place to hike during the off season. Over there near Smith Mountain. Again, the same region that Shane and I found that abandoned tent. It's a Big Frog Wilderness and Smith Mountain Road, which is really a glorified motorcycle trail. Like you can, Lurley said Elvids. I'm liking Elvids a lot. Elvids is that's a good one. Elvids. So I'm thinking that Smith Mountain and Big Frog Wilderness might be two of the scariest places I've ever hiked. The reason why it doesn't ever scare me is I know the area so well, but I can't explain it. You just have to go and hike around. Big Frog Wilderness being one of them. It just has an eerie feeling to it. I'm not exactly sure why. Billy Strong's Adventure. He says, hey, Bill Marion, when is the new video of Opryland coming out? Okay. What else is there to say about Opryland? What else is there to say? It was a theme park that tragically closed after the incident. No, I'm kidding. There was no incident. It closed for mysterious reasons. We're not exactly sure. But I don't know what else there is to say. There's other stuff you could say, but then you start getting into the nitty-gritty of, like, I wanted to do a video if there was any interest whatsoever, but nobody in the comment section. I even said, hey, if you're interested in me doing a video like this, let me know in the comments. Nobody is like crickets. We got a lot of comments, but we didn't get, nobody, chimed in, hey, I want to see that video. And it was doing a financial breakdown of why they were very popular, because what they had told the public, what Gaylord had told the public, is that they hadn't been profitable, and it wasn't true. And that stuff, of course, is available. And to show what they were investing in, why they were bringing in the Mills Corporation to help them build a mall to finance that, and what they were doing with the money. What they were doing with the money from the basically splitting the profit from the sale to Opry Mills. They were going to get a big load of cash and then invest it in what they were investing into and show that stuff. But I thought, that's boring. Billy says, hey, I want to see that video. Lurley says, you need to film the Big Frog Wilderness in person, disappear, get a friend to follow your disappearance on YouTube. Shane, we've got a plan. We've got a plan. Shane and I were talking about this, how insane, because he lives in Florida, and in a different set of circumstances, there's so many things that we could do. that we've talked about doing just to be fun, for the sense for humor, because we grew up together, so we have the same sophomoric, sarcastic, sardonic, whatever. Plug in whatever words you like there to kind of, just get ideas. It was fake a UFO is the one I've always wanted to do. Is fake a UFO and wait till it hits. Wait till people out there are reporting it. Then report it on my channel as them reporting it. And just follow it, the story or whatever. I think I said that on that video. I think you might have. I think you might have. I would have to go back and look, but I looked at it and went, okay, Billy, all right. And I might have even said something like, yeah, the Dutch oven, blah, 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 or something. I'm not sure. There's a guy with a channel who just covered a guy who did that. And then there's the guy that covers the guy that covered the guy that did that. YouTube is, man, that's all it is now. Like on the shorts, when you're flipping through the shorts, right? You're going through there, and all these people who they're just doing reaction videos to other videos. And it's like a split screen, like you got the reaction maybe on top or bottom, and they go, check this out. And then they show it, and the guys respond like, And I'm like, really? Is that all it takes to make a video now? Is just responding to something? Before you know it, it's just going to be people responding to responses. That's a good idea. It's a great idea. I guess I should have done it on all 4 channels. Yeah, you should have. And left a comment. Walter Lurley to Walter Langston says, Lieblers aren't true elves. Or Keeblers aren't true elves. They are corporate mutants. They are indeed. Because I wouldn't eat a Keebler elf. Okay, I would. Listen, you get hungry enough, okay? You know what I'm saying? And they're probably a little sweeter anyway. But they're a lot more intelligent than your average elves. They are. So you'd pause, but you'd be like, I'm hungry, and then in the fryer you go. I'm not responding to any of this. I don't know. Did somebody offend our brand new Australian in here? Elves reporting this channel. Me now says, I once saw a covey of elvids in the woods in Southwest Oregon while snipe hunting. There were so many I didn't think I was going to make it out alive if I hadn't. I had my hatchet and machete. If I hadn't had my hatchet and machete, I would have died. True story from me now. But who goes to Oregon? Let me ask you guys a question. In your lifetime, how many people have you met from Oregon? I've met 2. And I don't count their kids because they're from here. So I've met 2 people from Oregon my entire life. True story. Billy Strong says, it's because you don't know what Opryland was. Walter Langston, don't eat the ones that bake the cookies. Don't eat the Keeblers. Don't eat the Keeblers. The Keeblers, is it just me, or do the Keeblers remind anybody else of Snap, Crackle, and Pop? Are those the same people? Is this Mandela effect? What's going on here? Big Gas says, no. You said responding to responding to respondents. I'm not responding to any of this. I get it. Sorry. 16 people from Oregon. You're the only person I've ever met that knows 16 people from Oregon. But congratulations. That's impressive. That is impressive. I meet 0. I know 0 from Oregon. Let's talk about that for a minute. I've met people from California. Let's do it in alphabetical order, but I usually get lost after a few. Oprah Winfrey ruined it. She did a lot of things, including Christmas. Thanks, Oprah. Thank you. Oprah ruined Christmas. Literally says, to me now, reminds me of when I visited Australia and the drop bears murdered me 3 times. What? I am unresponsive. See, big Gaz. I'm picking up on that, Billy. I am picking up on that. Big Gaz is our peeps. Lurley says, I don't trust you. Man, the chat is rocking tonight. Them drop bears don't play. Is that a type of gummy bear? A drop bear? It's a gumdrop bear, full of rainbow and love. Drop bears are real. That bear goes, drop. Get down on the ground and boogie. Ba-da-da. Yeah. Drop bears. You know what? I think I hunted drop bears one time. Seriously. Am I the only person that wants a pet bear? I'm dead serious. I couldn't do it here in the subdivision, but it's like where Carol and I want to retire or just live. We don't have to be retired to live there. I want about 20 acres, 30, 50, whatever, give or take. Fence it in, real high fence, and raise a black bear. And, just feed people. Feed it all the time. Please hit that thumbs up. Thank you. Strong's Adventure. Lurley, did you have your food in there? It said drop bears have big, sharp, pointy teeth. Like fangs, like Dracula. Why don't you ever have stories about vampire animals? Like it's just vampire humans. But you never have any scary stories about like a vampire bear. Like, wouldn't that be terrifying? You have a vampire bear that craves blood from humans. That would be terrifying. But it has all the powers of like Dracula, That'd be nuts. That'd be nuts. Like bunny wabbits. So, here's the thing. Have you had rabbit before or squirrel? Let's not get into possum because we all know potted meat is possum. We talked about this already. And yeah, I decided last night that I would still eat potted meat if I knew it was possum. I would still eat potted meat. But it would cause me some, Okay, wait a minute. We've got a joke here. I know it's a joke, Big Gaz. What do vegan zombies eat? I've got to hear this. This is going to be great. Bill Marion says, you are thinking of the 70s when you could have a bear enclosure on a strip in Pigeon Forge. I'm not going to live in Pigeon Forge, Billy at Strong's Adventure. I'm going to live in an undisclosed location in the mountains, in the Appalachian Mountains, where officially I don't have a bear. Just duh. Cabbage head. That's great. Possum pot pie is good. Walter, no, that's bad for you. You turn into a vampire that way. That's terrible. That's terrible. There's no way I'm gonna eat possum. Squirrel, I've had squirrel. Anybody else have squirrel? Or groundhog? I feel like our Generation X, may be the last to have had like legitimate, hey, we're going to fry up some squirrel meat after we went squirrel hunting and killed 6 or 7. Nobody else? Nobody? I feel like we're the last generation that's going to say, or groundhog. Like that was a thing when I was a kid. It wasn't an all the time thing. The old timers, though, they loved it. They would talk about it. Hey, yeah, we're going to kill the groundhog. Blah, blah, blah. Shane says, I've had squirrel. Squirrel's not bad. It's just a pain. You got to clean them and do all that stuff. And by the time you're done with all the preparation and cooking, you could have gone to McDonald's. You really could have. It's just, you don't have to go through all that process, Groundhog, I don't remember groundhog as well. I don't remember it as well. Squirrel is good. Pheasant, by the way, pheasant's outstanding. Talk about Cornish hens. Me now says, my Mexican uncle fried squirrel brains with eggs. No lie. Don't know if I could go that far. Man, that's just brains. I don't know. I'm sure. Listen, I know it's good. I'm not saying that it's not good. It's probably great. I'm just saying, I don't know. Just don't tell me it's brains. Let me spread it over some bread or whatever you do with it. Eggs, you're going to serve it with some eggs, stir it up with some Tabasco sauce, salt and pepper. It's fine. Just don't tell me it's brains, right? Pickled pig's feet. That's another one. I'm not going to do that. Other people can have it. I'm not going to do it. I think I would draw the line at, I love pickled stuff, like pickled eggs, good. Pickled eggs are good. And, but I can't think of anything else. How many squirrel brains to an egg? That's a good question, Lurley. How many squirrel brains to an egg? Because you don't want the ratio to be wrong. So you've got one egg, and there's got to be a balance of taste there. So that's a really good thought. I want to make sure that everything's balanced, just right. Make sure that it all goes down smoothly. What kind of beverage do you have with that kind of a breakfast too? That's the other question. Is it a juice breakfast or a milk? I would think not milk. I'm just going to go with it because you have the eggs already as a dairy. I'm thinking just black coffee. Bill, Marion, do not forget, we live in Louisiana and we eat anything that flies, swims, or just moves. Just saying, you know what? Point taken. And as you should, and you have taught the world how to eat. I'm serious. The Cajun influence, the Louisiana influence on the Deep South is incredible because the farther you go northeast and the farther, like past Texas, man, Arizona and California, you still have good cuisine because of Texas, because of Louisiana. Like, you got this neat belt. But going up towards New England and up through the Midwest, food gets bland. No joke. That's real. That's a real thing. Literally, I think you pair that with a Blue Label aristocrat vodka. Well, as for me, I'm still going to have the squirrel brains and eggs with, I think black coffee is in order there. I just think it would really set the brains off. If brains taste the way I think they taste, because I've never had brains. I've never had any brains of any animal, except whatever is in potted meat. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of stuff in potted meat. Am I right? Come on. Besides possum, I think. Of course, there's other stuff to eat though. Seal. Anybody ever had seal before? Not the singer. He's not dead yet, so nobody get any ideas. No, but seals, like in the ocean. Anybody ever had one of those? They look like they would be good. I'm just being honest. I'm throwing it out here just to say, look, it's Christmas. You have different dishes for different cultures. You know, Christmas is celebrated around the world. So a lot of people would eat different things. A feast doesn't have to look like it does here in America. It can look different. No. Now we are not Cajun. You might get me a hit put on me if you say that. Well, okay, I just mean like Louisiana cuisine and the Cajun influence. I tried to divide it, but it just didn't come out right. I know exactly what you're saying. I thought of that as I was saying. I wasn't trying to lump everybody up into one family there, but you are. Come on. If you've seen one Louisianan, you've seen them all. Louisiana. I had to learn to say Louisiana because, you know, that's how everybody wants to say it, Louisiana, but that's not how people down there say it. It's Louisiana. I can't do it now. Now that I've been put on the spot, I can't do it. Can't eat brains sober against my religion. Well, Mazel Tov. Good for you. Seriously, it's to each his own. But how? Does it matter if you're not sober? You could, right? Because that's Leviticus. That's in Leviticus too, I think. I'm not sure. Of course I play. I kid. Big Gas says, in Oz, temperature is about 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, help me, Jesus. 98 degrees Fahrenheit. We have barbecues, shrimp, which are prawns, cold salads, etc. That sounds amazing. Prawns are great. Prawns are shrimp that grew up. I'll tell you something. Prawns are shrimp that didn't get bullied. So instead of being a shrimp, they're a prawn. That's how that works. That's there. I'm the same, literally. After a few drinks, I start bumming cigarettes and eating brains. It happens to all of us. No, I'm kidding. Now, I would say that when it comes to brains, if I were going to eat brains, it would have to be squirrel brains. Bite size, lots of flavor though. Lots of flavor. Because, you know, the energy of a squirrel. You think about, you know, when I see the 5,000 squirrel out my backyard through the woods, you know, they're just playing and having fun and chirping and barking and doing all the stuff squirrels do, being squirrely, if you will. The first thing I think of is, man, that's some good eating. Then I think all that energy in their brain just going. And so that has to come out in the cooking, right? What did I say? Oh, I knew what you meant, Lurley. We knew what you meant. It's prawns, right? Prawns. But prawns, don't they sound like more deadly? A prawn sounds so like, arr, arr. Can y'all do that at home? Arr. Yeah, a prawn sounds like it should be like a wild, fanged, monstrous animal. Arr. Yeah, maybe not. That does to me. But they are big shrimp.
Literally goes her. They are good. They are very good. They are very good. So yeah, we're trying to figure out a great way, the best way, I should say, to head over to the mountains. And I would like to incorporate, I guess, I forget who it was that said, I think it was our Australian friend who came in tonight, and so grateful you stopped. It's awesome that you stopped by. But about how, go to the wilderness, hike, get lost, and then have somebody else covered on the channel. Because that is a definite viral video right there. I'll just have to delete these live streams, though, so nobody can, they planned it. But it would be awesome to... A great video we had this past year was Spookiest Road in the Smoky Mountains. Now, I got ripped up in the comments over that because the road that I'm pointing everybody towards... It was shtick, the whole spookiest road. It can be spooky if you're not used to roads like that, but we are. It wasn't spooky to us. It was raining on the day we were there. It was storming. I didn't think anything of it. It was clickbait. Come on, it's clickbait. If you don't know the game by now, and you've been watching YouTube videos for more than 6 months, half of the game is clickbait. And it's not, you can't mislead people with clickbait. You don't want to do that, okay? But if you're telling a story, you're telling a story. It is spooky there. Some weird stuff has happened there, but mostly what I covered was the history of Cades Cove and Parson Branch Road. Well, the video got 500,000 views, or close to it. It's 400 and something thousand. It did phenomenal. It did great for our channel. And I'm like, woohoo! But I would like to do some more videos like that aren't necessarily a spooky angle. Maybe a spooky angle. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of an angle, because I don't really want, I never want to mislead anybody, but it's okay to inform people and use some clickbaitish kind of stuff, right? And Big Frog Wilderness would be that's a great, I've just got to find some things that have happened that are more interesting than just people disappeared. Okay, that sounds terrible, because I'm not trying to say that people disappearing in the national forest or national park is boring. But come on, it is. I mean, if we're being honest, it's not. People go missing in national parks all over the U.S. It's not a conspiracy. You've heard it here. Don't get offended. Don't get mad at me, people. Don't get mad at me. But it's not a conspiracy. Things happen in national parks. You're in the middle of nowhere. So, of course, people are going to disappear and stuff. They're going to get eaten by animals. They're going to get lost. Stuff happens. And the body's never going to get found because it's eaten by hundreds of woodland creatures who are so thankful for a free meal. Right? That's the truth. Yes, some foul play probably has happened. Alien abductions probably have happened. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But most of the time, it's the guy who says, I don't need a compass. I know my way around the woods. I was born and raised in a briar patch. And they get out there and they're lost. So that's kind of boring. And I don't believe in ghosts. No offense to anybody who does. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just not a big ghost guy. It's whatever. You could go the UFO route, I guess, but I don't trust a lot of those stories. So it's I want to find something interesting that you can have a little fun with, because that would be that's the key, is to be able to have fun while you're making the video. But I haven't figured it out yet. I thought about doing reenactments. That'd be fun. Aliens, probably, definitely. Do you even History Channel? I'm liking this crowd tonight. Great crowd. Oh, I'm liking this chat. This is awesome. Yeah. Well, okay. I was said this last night, Lurley, that I really wanted to fake a UFO. That's been a desire of mine. Strong's Adventure will tell you this. Todd, who was in here earlier, a bunch of them will tell you that I have said I wanted to fake a UFO for years in a non-dangerous kind of way. And so, yeah, you could do aliens, but you've got to find a place where they've seen aliens. And I want it to be in the middle of nowhere. The more remote, the better. So your thumbnail is something like wilderness, what is it? What is it called? UAP or UAWAP? Whatever the new acronym is for UFO. But UFO spotted in wilderness area skies, blah, blah, blah. And maybe you do a reenactment or something, just like you said, History Channel. Big Ass says, we have Black Mountain just up the road. from me. Aboriginal folks, by the way, here in Queensland, we can fit 4.5 Texases in here. Gee whiz. Wow. And Texas is huge. Carolyn and I was talking about this the other day, that Texas is, people don't realize how big Texas is. So for Queensland to be able to fit 4.5 Texases, boy, making that word plural is kind of difficult. But yeah, that's big. That's big. What is that? Like the Outback kind of, I mean, like for real, not the restaurant that doesn't even serve Australian food, but is it like the real Outback? Walter Langston says the missing 411 books talk about the people national parks. The missing 411 books. Well, I haven't. I need to check that out. There are some situations that are kind of weird there. I don't know, but I don't want to go too far into anything serious on the channel because it is a lighthearted channel, guys. I think Opryland is about as serious as I want to get, as far as doing any. I like to present factual information unless it's supposed to be obvious shtick, on the channel. But when we go places, but I don't want to get so serious where you're like, yeah, there's some abductions going on. They're selling body parts with people that are hiking in national parks. Probably not a good idea. Not a good look for the channel. But it'd probably sell videos. You'd probably get a lot of views. How many Texases could a Texas text? Texas should text Texas. I don't know how many. I'm sorry. I'm going with it. Oh my gosh. 3. They said 3. They could definitely do 3. Big Gaz, northern Eastern Australia state. Bill, Western Australia is a third the size of the USA. It's a big place down under, man. It's a big place. But Mom's been to Australia. When she came back, she had all these amazing stories. And they did the whole tour in the Outback, and they were there like a month, and they had a great time. I'm too old for that kind of. She was young. She was like in her 40s then, and I think I'm too old for that kind of a trip. I don't know. I say that and I think, but I'm gonna tell you something. My wife would shoot me. She would. I don't even know how I would ever get by with something like that. She'd be like, "No, we're not doing that." I'm not so much saying hotels and stuff. I'm like, they haul your tent around, and you stay outside the whole time. Carol would be like, "I will kill you." It says, "Come on down. You may not get killed." I heard that. You may not. It's possible. Carol's like, "No, I would like to go to New Zealand and the rainforest there in Australia. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be awesome. Not based on the stories your mom told me, but from her trip. Yeah. It's I was in the Army for close to 10 years. I think I could get through it and enjoy myself, have a great time. But I think bringing Carol, I think she'd be like, no, she would die. I took Carolyn to Nicaragua one year, and we were staying in hotel rooms. It was, hotel rooms are different there than here. Okay. And we were staying like at the mission house there. And that was the most roughing it Carolyn is going to do. Carolyn's like, that's as far as I can go. It was, there were some exotic aspects of being in Nicaragua that I will say, I get it. Me now says, one time I was in northern southwest eastern Australia, ran into an Aborigine, and we rolled and smoked. I need to quit reading these comments. It's my good Lord. Didn't sleep for 3 days. We stayed at a hotel one night. The rest of those nights was the mission house. Well, you know what I'm saying. The mission house was okay. It was pretty exotic. You married a Floridian city girl, darling. You got that right. Carolyn's the type to go in the hotel room and inspect it. Black light and all, which is scary. But no, it's finding a great place to make a video where you still can keep your costs down, your expenses down, and make it entertaining. Because sometimes, like I've said before on our live streams, a lot of times Carol and I are just enjoying getting away. Like and YouTube is just kind of a part of that. And then over the long run, YouTube ends up paying for our getaways, and that's been a great experience. We've loved that, but we're ready to branch off and do some fun stuff this next year that we haven't done before, and go some places we haven't gone before, and try to stretch ourselves just a little bit as far as our, the limits around Chattanooga. Because if you think about it, if you're trying to keep your expenses down, you're looking at a maximum of 2 nights. So you're going to be driving a lot. When you get back, you're exhausted because you're going to have a day to record, and then you got to do some research. So you really need to record about 3 videos worth of information on one of our YouTube trips. On one YouTube trip, that's about what we do. So this is some inside baseball stuff about our YouTube channel. So if we go to, I preached up in West Virginia, and we were up there for, what was it? A week and a half or something, a week or something like that. So you're trying to get as much YouTube footage as you can to be able to make as many videos as you can about different aspects that you enjoyed there in West Virginia or wherever. If we went to Destin this past year, we tried to get 3 videos out of that. So you're trying to maximize whatever time that you have somewhere else. So you want to go someplace. Somebody asked me, Billy, it might have been you a few years ago, asked me about Branson, Missouri. And one of the reasons why we've never gone to Branson, and just, hey, we're going to Branson. Because honestly, guys, I've been through Branson on the way somewhere else. It was one of those, hey, let's go through Branson. And we did. We're like, oh, it's like a miniature version of Gatlinburg. I mean, seriously, that was kind of the gist. But other than that, I've never spent time there. So I thought we could go do a Branson thing. But I haven't, in research, I just haven't found enough to cover in Branson. I could go on, and because I'm not trying to put anybody from Branson down or limit, maybe somebody should throw me a bone and say, no, you've got to see this. This is great. But keep in mind, when it comes to like shows and stuff like that, I don't want to do a video about some great show that was in Branson. Probably wouldn't be a lot of fun. I was going to go see Big Gaz, but then a certain pandemic happened. Wow. I'm saying wow because of how many people where their lives were just, they had plans, big plans, and then something happened, the pandemic, and then they had to cancel. Like that was probably a huge. How far along were you in your planning on that? Because I'm curious. It's just awful. I know that our channel had kind of exploded a little bit in 2018. When I say exploded, I'm talking about for us. I'm not talking about like Casey Neistat exploded here. I'm talking about for us. We've been partnered in 2019. I kept trying to kind of cultivate that. We kind of did the same thing we did the previous year when we were partnered. And I was looking forward to 2020 being a breakout year for the channel. In every travel channel, every single travel channel, nature channel, whatever you want to call us, whatever we fit into, we were throttled way down. And I couldn't figure it out. I could figure it out. I take that back. I knew exactly what was going on, but you couldn't prove it until right after the pandemic lifted. We make a third of the videos or less than we made in 2020, 2021, and 2022. We make a third, and we get more views now than we did then per year. So it's like obvious to me that we were totally being throttled, but we're not the only ones saying that. Big travel channels were throttled. Some of them closed shop. They said this is a waste of time because of how much they were throttled down. We were to meet up in September of that year. That's just so disappointing. And that's like, man, that's terrible. That's just terrible. It is. And I hate that. And I hope that in the future we decide to, I'm sure there'll be pandemics down the road. I'm sure there will. We haven't seen the last of a pandemic, but I hope that we handle it differently moving forward. I'm not political. I'm not political on the channel, very political in my personal life. But I just don't think we did a great job in the way that we handled it last time. And here's the example, again, being on YouTube. we went hiking all the time, and I was like, so you're holding us back because we're hiking where you're getting fresh air and exercise, which is what people should have been. That's how we were encouraged early on. Like, why on earth would you want to, restrict people? Or why wouldn't you want to show people beautiful places when they are stuck at home? So I never understood that. I hope we handle things differently next time. Scammed. That's all I have to say about that. This is a fun area. Did I skip something here? I think we did. We had him coming to the States and meeting up with 5 other tubers, and it just got shut down. Scammed. Okay, now I see. That's all I have to say about that. We were going to go down there, and that got shut down. I tell you, it's there was some weird. A lot of it, I think, was political, very, very, very political, but I think everybody gave it a chance there at first. I think the first 6 months, people played along. I know we did. We played along. We was like, okay, all right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna. All right, this is gonna happen. But by the end of 2020, I'm going, okay, wait a minute. Like, it was enough, and I. As far there at the church, I know that we stopped playing 3 months in. We stopped playing. We had been doing the outside service thing and we played along with the stuff, all the stuff. And after 3 months, I said, look, we'll social distance. You can sit every other seat, all that stuff, but we're coming back to church. And it actually worked out really well for the church because church was so necessary during that time period too. So I don't know. It's the numbers. I think what bothered me were the numbers, where everybody that passed away, it was a COVID death. That bothered me. Like, no matter what you died from, COVID. It was called COVID. And so that made it look so much worse than what it really was. I think future historians are probably going to have a lot more to say about what was really going on. That if we were still alive when those books that come out, we'd probably get really mad. That's what I'm suspecting. I twigged when our government legislated that we couldn't sue if the shot hammered us. Us too. Us here in the U.S. Like, we can't do anything. Here's what I say about that. You can't sue them, but when it comes to passing future legislation or anything else that comes up, they tend to throw the book at them even harder for past, mistakes or whatever. So that I don't think anybody's going to let Pfizer forget. I don't think anybody's going to let the politicians during that time period forget. I think the COVID decisions will stick around in politics all over the world longer. But worse than anything is the credibility of our governments, plural, and again, not just here in the U.S., but just plural. That's what we've lost the most of, is the credibility of being able to trust what our government says. Something that I said in a video this year, that it's easy to look at a previous generation and say, why did they do this and why did they do that? And when it comes to the boomers, the generation before us, they had this wonderful opportunity, when they were in their prime, that they could trust what the news said, and they could trust what they saw with their eyes and heard with their ears, and they knew that it wasn't 100% true, but true enough. And sure, the Gulf of Tonkin that got the U.S. involved and Australia involved in the Vietnam War, it was staged. We know that now, but a lot of the news wasn't. It was real. If you don't believe in the moon landing and you don't believe in stuff like, okay, maybe more, whatever. My point is that we are no longer in that time period. We are not in a time period where people trust the news anymore or trust what their government officials say. I think there's a YouTuber on here. He's former Navy SEAL or something. I can't remember. He's into it with a senator right now. And he feels like he was threatened by this senator. Probably true. And you guys might know the situation better than I do. And we're in a time now where YouTubers are more trusted now than the nightly news. That's nuts to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going, Yeah, I got an education. I know a thing or two. I can add 2 + 2 and get 7. You know what I'm saying? I know something. But to trust me as the source for your news, well, no. I mean, I wouldn't lie to you, but I'm just saying. I mean, I would do some research and all that stuff. I wouldn't listen to me about everything. Most things, maybe. Okay. But my point being is that the fact that I don't watch the nightly news anymore. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch Fox. You know, at best, I'll watch a short or a 3-minute video when they're covering a story just to see what's going on. Where do I get information at? Well, history books. Seriously, dead serious. Like, I will learn more about the Biden administration when the books start coming out. That's when I'll start figuring out what was going on, because everything's such propaganda, I don't pay attention to it much. But as far as current events, I get it from Twitter, X, whatever you call it now. Not Facebook. Facebook is just garbage, but I'll get it from YouTube. You know, from the varying people on YouTube that have earned some bit of credibility to me. And the least political they are, the more I'll pay attention. I'm getting way too political tonight. Listen at me. Listen at me be not funny and serious. My goodness. I'm sorry if I started this heavy discussion. It's all your fault, you Aussie. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry if I started this heavy discussion. We started eating elf kebabs, and then... Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're right. I did. I'll tell you what. It's the COVID thing will start people. I'm guilty. See, I'm guilty in this very moment of ruining the vibe. And we lost about 5 people in the chat. They're like, I don't want to hear any more political commentary. I'm sorry. I repent. I repent for going political in this live stream. It shall never happen again. Okay, it'll probably happen again sooner. I'm as political as the next person is, though. I just try to keep it off the channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can have fun. Because when I get started, I don't shut up. You know, I just keep on. I just keep on and on and on. Terrible. And then before you know it, you're like, I trust Bill Marion for my news. I'm going to get on here and leave a comment and tell how much I hate the commies or whatever. Communism is making a comeback. I thought communism was gone when I was in college. I like, communism will never come back. Blah, 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 blah. And now we got these young people saying, I want to be a communist. I want to be a socialist. Okay. Yay! Yay! You know, I can't say I blame him. I'm just, not that I'm not a communist, despite the red in the background here. I'm not a communist, not a socialist. But I'm saying, you know, the economy hasn't worked well for our young people, so they're trying to figure out what might work. They're like, I can't afford a house. They were telling me about this house down the road from me that probably, I think she said, my daughter said it sold for $500,000+, and that is not a $500,000 home. So it's just nuts. Walter says, never happen again. Never happen again into the next time. Yeah, well, that's how it works, right? You say never happen again, and then boom, it happens. We should never forget, never surrender. Well, my goodness. We have reached the end of our hour, and I want to welcome Big Gas tonight. As always, Billy Strong's Adventure, Shane, who is also known as Randall Boston, who's in the house. Me Now has showed up every night. So glad for Me Now. Deja Vu Me Now. And I'm missing somebody. Todd, of course, and I'm sure I'm missing a few people. I shouldn't have started thanking everybody because now I'm going to miss half the people. So I'm grateful that you stopped by, and I'm grateful that you have chatted and made me laugh hysterically tonight. And the good news is we still have many nights to go, because we are live streaming every single night until Christmas Eve. I might even, you just never know. You just never know. We might even do this on Christmas Eve. And Big Gas, let me say this. You better come back tomorrow night. You better come back, because we are better with you here. Strongs, we're better with you here. And you guys invite some people. You are the one friend that I bring to a party and make it special. Hey, I'll tell you what you did. You are hilarious, and I'm glad that you're here. Invite your friends, invite your neighbors, invite people you don't like, and we'll make fun of them. Listen, I am game for whatever. I am game for whatever. And so, as always, peace in the hood, peace out, and I'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Later.